Now, there's one common mistake I often see people make when it comes to shoulder pain. And in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly what that is and then how you can go about fixing it so you can start to make some changes and get on top of that cranky shoulder of yours. Hey there, I'm Craig from Elevate Chiropractic, and I've been helping people feel, move and function better for the last 14 years. And this mistake that I see people make is an overemphasis on the rotator cuff. I'll spend a lot of time doing all of the abandoned strengthening exercises, soft tissue work and massage, and dry needling, acupuncture, all these types of things. But what they often miss is the connection between our rotator cuff and posture. And in particular, that sort of grounded, we call an internal rotation of the shoulders posture, where we go into this position. And that's most commonly due to all of the looking down at devices, computers, slouching that we tend to do these days. So you might ask, how is posture and rotator cuff injuries linked? Well, let me answer that for you, and in order to do that we need to look at a little bit of anatomy. So if we think of our hip joint, the hip is like a ball and socket. This gives us fairly good range of motion and it's really strong and stable joint. Our shoulder, on the other hand, is often described as a golf ball on a tee. Now this gives us fantastic range of motion, but that comes at a cost of stability. And our rotator cuff's role, along with a few of the other soft tissues in the area, is to keep our shoulder in its place so that it's going to be stable and work properly. Now, if we are in this rounded position, suddenly the rotator cuff muscle is automatically going to have to start to work harder in order to do its job. It's not going to be efficient. Now, if we lay on top of that, our throwing and bending and twisting and lifting and all these types of things, it just leads us to be more prone to an injury. As an example of this, there was a study done here in 2015 where they looked at around about 380 people and they divided them into 4 postural groups based on their posture. There was normal posture or ideal posture, there was that what they call a kyphotic posture or that rounded posture, straight back posture, and then sway back type posture. And what they did is they assessed their shoulders, they did ultrasound scans to assess for any rotator cuff tears, and then compared them with the different postural groups, and the results were really interesting. What they found was that those people that were in that sort of ideal posture, 2.5% of those people had a rotator cuff tear. Now some of these tears were symptomatic, some of them weren't. But when it came to that kyphotic posture, like we're talking about in this video, 65.8% of those people had rotator cuff tears, which is a super high amount, and it just shows you the connection between the rotator cuff and your posture. So the good news is though, is that if we want to start to correct our posture, and if we do correct it, we're going to take a lot of the tension off of our rotator cuff. So therefore those other exercises we talked about, like the strengthening, the soft tissue, the dry needling, those types of things are going to give you much better and, more importantly, longer lasting results. Now I believe there's 3 parts to starting to work on your posture. We want to stretch all the tight muscles in the front, we want to strengthen the weak muscles in the back, and then thirdly, we want to work on making sure that there's no restrictions or dysfunction in our mid to upper back and our neck. Now, that third part, the restriction, I think is best done by a chiropractor. Of course, I'm biased in this, but those other 2, there's lots of different ways of approaching that, and in my upcoming videos in the next few weeks, I'm going to show you some of my favourite ways of dealing with that. So make sure you keep an eye out on my social channels for that. You can also check out the blog section on my website, as I've done lots of videos on shoulder issues in the past, but make sure you keep an eye out for my new ones. So if you've tried the stretching and the strengthening and you're still having issues with your shoulder, then maybe you're missing the third part of that equation and there is some dysfunction in that mid to upper back and neck area. And if that is the case, I'd love to see if I could help you out. So feel free to give me a call on 413-5312 and I can discuss it with you, see if there is something that I can do to help. But until next time, take care. I'll see you soon. Bye.